Chapter 10. A bell jingled as Charles and Harry walked through the door into the front room of Maggie's wash and lag. The next morning, Harry's aunt's grooming shop was directly behind her house and connected to a walkway. When Harry and Charles arrived, a lot of different dogs started barking. All different barks, from high, quick barks, riff, 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 to deep, low wolves. Ruff. Charles looked around and took a deep breath of the sweet, warm air. "It smells great in here," he said. "This like hair to, He stopped himself. Maybe Harry didn't want to know that he got his hair cut at a hair salon. "Like hair today, right?" Harry grinned. "That's exactly what I think." "You mean you get your hair cut there?" Charles asked. Harry nodded. "Yep, by Danielle. Oh, she's the best. I've been going to her for years." "Me too," Charles said. He could hardly believe it. "Wasn't it a bummer when she moved out of Littleton?" Harry asked. "But it's worth driving over to Springfield for her. Hey, maybe the next time we can make our appointments at the same time and you could drive over with me." Charles laughed. "That would be awesome." He loved riding Harry's convertible. That morning's 10-minute drive to his house to Maggie's grooming shop had not been nearly long enough. Charles hitched up Princess's pink palace higher up in his arms. "So this is your aunt's shop?" he said, looking around. They were in the waiting room, which was decorated with pictures of dogs of every breed. Lizzie would have loved it. "Oh, it's a cool place." "It sure is," Harry agreed. "And I spent many Saturdays and after-school hours helping my aunt." He opened a door marked "Employees Open" and called, "Aunt Maggie, we're here." "Come on in," called Harry's aunt. "I'm in the middle of a poodle." Charles giggled. That was a funny picture. He knew that she meant that she was grooming a poodle. Charles followed Harry into the grooming room. The good smell was even stronger in there, and the air was damp. Charles could see high tables where dogs were standing for their haircuts. He also saw rolling carts full of different types of scissors, buzzers, and trimmers. He saw spools of ribbons in every color for putting in the finishing touch on the dogs that were ready to go home. And then he saw Aunt Maggie standing in a waist-high tub, working on the very thick ladder on the light suds of the brown curls of a very wet pup. "Almost done," Maggie said. "One quick rinse." Whoosh! She sprayed at the dog's side, and Hershey will be ready to go under the dryers. She rinsed on the ladder out of the dog's coat, and then she helped him climb up the tub, towed him off, and let him down the ramp without standing back for a moment. The poodle shook off, spraying everything to sight with water. Finally, helped him into a big metal dog crate that had a blue blower attached to it. She flipped a switch, and the blower went on with a whoosh. "See you in a few hours, Hershey," she said, blowing a kiss. "Goodbye." She turned around to see Charles and Harry wiping some suds off their nose. "Hey," she said, "you brought her with you." "Great," she said. She came over and bent down to look into the palace. "Hello there, little one. You sure are adorable." Inside the palace, Princess wagged her little tail as fast as go. She sniffed the air excited. "You're right. I am adorable. And it smells just like home here. Look at all those pretty ribbons. I like it already." Maggie straightened up. "Excuse me. I'm giving it a lot of thought," she said. "Yeah. And I talked it over with Nathan. No, we decided that we would like to make Princess a part of our family." Charles gulped. He'd been dreading the moment for 24 hours now, including the many hours in the middle of the night where he was too worried to sleep. He was really going to have to tell Aunt Maggie about the list. Actually, he was going to have to show it to her. He dug into his pocket for the folded, crumpled stack of paper. The thing is, he began, "Oh boy, I am so excited," Maggie interrupted. "It's been ages since I owned a dog. Did I tell you I had a Yorkie whenever I was a little girl? Her name was Bitsy, and she was so cute and fun. Even though I had resisted getting a dog for years, I guess I always wanted another Yorkie. Was Bitsy spoiled?" Charles wondered if Bitsy was the kind of dog who had a list. But Maggie was still talking, and Nathan now, well, he's besides himself, of course. He's fallen head over heels for that silly little puppy. And last night, he went through his whole bookshelf, picking out books to read to her. "That's great," said Charles, and I was thinking that for today," Maggie said, turning herself to put a rolling table up, "I'd get Princess used to the shop a little, since she'll be spending her days here with me. And since Yorkies need to be groomed regularly, I thought that would get her used to the idea, too. She's a little too young for a real grooming, but I'll stand her up on the table and give her a tiny trim. Dogs do so much better to groomers if they're used to a routine." She patted the table. "So let's get her out of her carrier." Charles put the pink palace down. "Wait! I have to tell you something," he burst out in a rush. But before Maggie could say another word, Harry and Maggie froze. They all stared at Charles. "Oh," Maggie said. "Okay," she raised her eyebrows. "What is it?" Charles gulped again. He held out a crumpled wad of paper. "Princess's list. You see this?" he said. "It's the list. Like with a capital L." He closed his eyes and opened them again. "The list of all the special ways you have to take care of Princess." Maggie laughed. "It wouldn't be the first list I've seen. Lots of people give me lists when they drop off their dogs. What Popsy might have for lunch, or why Topsy may have a special music playing in the shop. But Princess's list is very long, so be warned," said Charles. "The thing is, she's really, really spoiled." There, he said it. Now Maggie wouldn't say she didn't have time for a spoiled dog. That'd be that. Maggie's face got serious for a moment. "Oh, I just don't have time for a spoiled dog," Maggie said. She didn't saw Charles' worried expression. She laughed. "But don't worry, sport. I'll take care of her. I know exactly how to get spoiled dogs unspoiled. I had plenty of practice at it in this job, and it takes a little time and training. And I'm so happy to do it for Nathan now and Princess and me. Nathan now," she called through the door that led through the house. "Princess came by for a visit. She's here." She reached down to open the door to Princess's pink palace. "Come on out, little girl," she said. "You're home." Nathan now came running in just as Princess bounced right out of her palace. The tiny puppy ran into the little boy's arm, and Maggie smiled down at both of them. Charles smiled too. The tiny Yorkie had definitely found her perfect forever family. The end.